Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder, and in today's video, we've got a Hindenburg replay. This ship is quickly becoming my favorite T10 cruiser, and even T10 ship in general, because it is just so versatile, and it is so good at what it does. So, recently, 0.6.4 went live. As many of you may know, French cruisers took the cake, I guess you could say, with the main thing that happened in that patch. However, there are some slight changes that went into the German high-tier cruisers. From T8 to T10, the bow increased from 25 millimeters, which previously you could not bounce or auto bounce 15-inch shells. But now that it's 27 millimeters, similar to how the Des Moines is, it can now safely bounce 15-inch shells. That means all shells from Tirpitz, Bismarck, Gneisenau, that sort of thing. Any 380 millimeter guns or 15-inch will now automatically bounce off of your bow. So that is a nice addition. However, I don't think the Hindenburg in particular really needed this. Maybe the what is it, the not the Prince Eugen, but the Hipper. Maybe the Hipper needed it for possibly competitive, but I kind of don't agree with that. But I will take a buff, even if it's I guess not planned or not, I don't know. But in any case, I'll take it. So I'm just gonna be pushing up. I'm sure you guys have noticed many times before of me playing the Hindenburg that I like to play it aggressively, and I like to run Hydro as well. I think Hydro pairs well with this ship. Should be a no-brainer. German Hydro. It's got the good German Hydro that we all know and love, and it's got decent AA that packs a punch. And part of the reason why I don't go for a full AA build is because I think this build that I've got right now, reload and actually AA gun range, is probably the most effective way to play the Hindenburg, whether you like to play it up close and personal like I do, or as a more of a medium range support vessel. I think it fits those roles quite nicely, but certainly with the increased bow protection, I do think that the up close and personal and in your face approach does work rather nicely. As I mean, you guys should know by now, the AP on this thing when given broadside is ridiculous. You saw first salvo was 7,000 there. Let's see if I can't pop this New Orleans a new butthole. Shells going in. What a nice salvo. Almost 20k, 2 citadels. Bismarck's sitting broadside. Looks like he actually grounded. Gonna start nailing him. But of course turning in. Actually, he's gonna be going out. New Orleans is sitting pretty angled. My AP won't be able to pen him here. I do have to be careful. I didn't pay attention, and he's actually gonna get some nice pens on me. Right there, you can see. Oh, okay, that wasn't. This one's gonna be a good pen. I was not respecting the New Orleans AP. Something you'd always have to do. And then torpedoes are inbound. This is also not a good thing. I do go with manual fire control. You can see my AA range goes up to 6 kilometers, but my 150 or 105 millimeter guns are actually only 5.4 kilometer range, so it's a bit unfortunate in that respect. But so the AA range is not all that good, but you can see the mid range is doing its fair share. Bismarck shells are coming in, and he hits me pretty hard for a 20k salvo. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful on how I position myself now that Bismarck has taken a big chunk out of my health. Good news is I've done a lot thus far. Done a lot of work on that North Carolina and also that New Orleans. I pretty much killed myself, and I'm gonna continue working on this Bismarck, try and help my Missouri and North Carolina and Kagero buddies down south because we're kind of losing it at A. So we're gonna have to hurry up a bit and start doing some work. Again, dodging shells very nicely. The Hindenburg's steering gears steering isn't all that good. It's certainly not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. It is certainly manageable, and that is something that I will definitely take any day of the week. Get a nice fire on him. The HE, I actually calculated this out, and I think I've mentioned this a few times. For a Zao running range mod, which is the most common build for the Zao currently, versus the Hindenburg with the reload mod, which is again the most common build that I have seen and heard as of this current patch. The Hindenburg actually does set more fires per minute than the Zao. And that's taken into account things like Demolition Expert and the flags. So that just goes to show that how crazy the fire chance actually is on this ship, and how potent the HE is. You get 12 shells downrange every. I'm actually running Adrenaline Rush, so it's a little bit quicker than, I believe, 8.8 seconds. So I'm getting it down to a little under 8 at around 30k health. You can see there's 7.9 seconds to be exact. And that's part of the reason why I do like Adrenaline Rush so much. At half health, I just get this ridiculous reload time that it's almost unbeatable. 7.9 second reload. It's not quite Des Moines like, but that's a lot of shells going down range at once. Arcuria's been put in a pretty poor position, honestly, and he actually ends up going down. I'm gonna have to switch off him and focus on the Magi that's pushing through. Gonna start burning him down. Get one fire. And I'm gonna try and set another one. Again, fire chance is good enough where it's pretty consistent. It seems like every other salvo you do, you actually can get fire. Granted, assuming that all of your shells hit, that would also be a very nice thing. And this is again the thing that makes the Hindenburg so good is that it's got turtleback armor. You guys should know this by now. The Hindenburg does have turtleback armor, so these Amagi shells, while they are 16-inch shells and they do hurt quite a bit, I'm sitting at about a 30. You can see my angle indicator there on screen. My God, it's almost 6K. You can see my angle indicator. I'm sitting at about 35, between 35 and 40 degrees to this Amagi. I can get all my guns to bear, which is, of course, a very important thing. But the other thing is, even if he hits me, sitting at a 35-40 degree angle, that's most of the shells are actually going to bounce. And then as soon as I say that, he does get a nice pen. But I mean, you get the point, though. You know, it's going to be, especially like for cruisers, it's almost impossible, unless your name is Moskva, to actually penetrate your citadel or penetrate and do enough damage. And it's, when you're kiting, this is one of the strongest positions for the Hindenburg to be in, kiting away at 12-ish kilometers. This is one of the best ships to be in to do this. The Zao is a good contender as well, but of course the Zao can't match the reload that this thing has. And I was gonna say the tankiness, but the Zao has some pretty troll armor as well. But the good thing about the Hindenburg is, since it is so symmetric throughout in every single axis, both in the left and right axis, okay, you get my point. It's symmetric on the frontal axis. You've got equal torpedoes on either side, and you've got equal guns on both the stern and the aft portions of your ship. This makes it for a powerful duo, like I said, when you're kiting away or when you're sailing towards enemy ships like I am doing right now. So, of course, sitting at a 60-degree angle, 65-degree angle in a battleship is a no-no in the when you're facing a Hindenburg, because you will start to see, if I can actually land some shells and have the correct target selected, that the damage really starts to rack up, especially when you aim. I personally like to aim in the Hindenburg. I like to aim at the upper armor belt, or even the superstructure. Even not quite hitting it there, still a little bit low. Zhao was starting to bug me, so you can. Oh, that wasn't a good representation. But I'm gonna start pelting this Zhao. He's, for some reason, the angle indicator is not working. Aiming a little bit high on that last salvo, but now I just point bow in. I'm gonna start letting my my raw DPS hit him. There's no point for me to actually use my rear two guns. He's in some bad doo-doo. He's got an angle against Missouri and also me, so that's always gonna be basically a win in my book. I don't need to expose more than I need to. So I end up killing him with a few citadels, and I don't want to get much closer to this Tirpitz, since he does have secondaries, and of course I'm not exactly sure why they included the Tirpitz Bismarck secondaries and put them on the Tirpitz, but again, that's a story for a different time. So I turn away. I don't want to get set on fire since my repair is down, and that has the possibility of me actually dying. If I did get set on fire, there was a potential for me to die, and I didn't want to take that, so I just decided to kite away and heal up. That was my last heal, so again, do have to be a little bit careful. There is Kutuzov left and the carrier that is left as well. At this far in the game, again, most of the time when I'm playing in these intense situations, I don't even realize what I've done. So at this point, I remember I didn't even realize I was on a Kraken. I had, well, 1 health, but I didn't even realize I had 4 kills. I saw that I had well over 200,000 damage, and I also had high caliber Confederate along the way. But again, sometimes you just don't register the amount of kills that you get. So at this point, I am more worried about the carrier going after me, just for the fact that a lot of my AA is damaged, and that certainly is something that I need to rely on a lot because I don't have defensive fire. However, if you were to run defensive fire, then it wouldn't be as big of a problem. But then you get you forgo the amazing German Hydro. Again, I am more aggressive in how I play the Hindenburg, or at least how I think I play, or how I think I am aggressive. So if you are having a lot of trouble with CVs, then certainly put on defensive fire, because the DPS values on the Hindenburg are absolutely insane for its AA. And when you pair that with manual fire control for AA, it just exponentially grows on how potent your AA is. Making sure I've got my front gun selected. You can, of course, use this by hitting C. Using the angle indicator, I know that if he's at 30 degrees, it'll be an auto bounce. So I'm actually going to be aiming right in front of his... I'm aiming right at his bow, but more at his actual front turret. And I got a citadel there. Aimed a little too high. And little too high as well. Actually knock out a gun. Was hoping that he was gonna turn more broadside, but he's gonna start turning broadside for me now. I'm just gonna wait. He's launching torpedoes. I know that. Unload a full salvo. Only 1 citadel. A lot of ore pens. I've been getting that a lot lately, in almost all my ships. But there's my Kraken for another few citadels. Torps are going to be coming in pretty soon here. That guy probably did make a mistake. However, my torpedo armament is much better than his are, and my torpedo angles are also much better than his are, so he was in a bit of a sticky situation either way you look at it. So all that's left is their CV, and we've got myself, a Missouri, and a Kagero left. The carrier is going after their Kagero, and it looks like he's about to get cross-dropped. Oh boy, this is not looking good. I wish I was actually looking at him. Yeah, Kagero does not have a lot of health at all. Looks like he managed to survive the attack, though. Bombers are coming in on him. 983. 986. Kagero gets a fire lit on him, and he goes down. So, now it's just me and the Missouri. I know the Missouri doesn't have a lot of health, so I do have to be careful. But I think at this point in the game, the carrier doesn't have as many planes. So again, I'm not too worried. But yeah, so overall, pretty good Hindenburg game. Pretty representative of what you should expect if you're trying to get to Hindenburg and how the ship really plays. I remember when I first started playing Hindenburg, I wasn't doing as well, but I've come to pretty much master the inner workings of the Hindenburg, and that finishes the game off. Alright guys, so looking at the post-battle results, 1 million credits. We managed to break that 1 million mark. I think I don't remember if these combat missions gave me any extra coins. We'll have to look at credits and XP. 12k XP, 600 free XP, Confederate Dreadnought, Kraken, and High Caliber, 240k damage. Not a bad game at all. 8 Citadels and 13 planes shot down. So T9 carriers, and I managed to shoot down 13 planes without defensive fire and without really the only AA thing I have is, of course, the upgrade and the manual fire control captain perk. So, team score 3.1k base XP. You can see 5 ship skill, 13 plane shot down. Very, very good game. Keep going backwards. Damage distribution. Again, this is something you should be seeing. I would like to, whenever I play my Hindenburg, I like to see a little bit more armor piercing damage than high explosive damage. I've been trying to incorporate that into my game a little bit more. But it, of course, depends on the situation, how many battleships are there in the game, and how often are they sailing broadside, and how often are they sailing directly at you, bow in. So that all depends, but in general, I want to keep this sort of like 60 to 40 AP to HE ratio. In terms of tankiness, potential damage fired at me, 1.1 million. Bit low, of course, for the Hindenburg, but I'll take it. So we received 611,000 credits, and then Gamescom, Zulu, and Military Month contributor for an extra 75%. Brought me to 821 grand to walk away with. Certainly an amazing game. Amazing credits. 18,000 Commander XP as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this Hindenburg game, and I hope you guys enjoy these high tier cruiser gameplay, and we will see you guys tomorrow for community replay.